Welcome to the show, you filthy little tool rags. It is time for the 3 Count podcast. With me, as always, is the Otis to my Gable, Benny Hobden. Ben, what a freaking pay-per-view we just witnessed.
Wow. Like, started high and just went up. Like, it was crazy.
It was freaking awesome. Now,
do yourself a favor, folks. I know you would have all seen it, but make sure you watch it. Watch it again.
Yeah, watch it again. Now, we've got another jam-packed episode for you. I'm going to take you through all the highs of Revolution and tell you what we thought of each match. Plus, we'll go through all the latest news, and we've got a great draft for you today. Going to draft our top 3 matches with color.
Crimson Mask. Bring them on.
It's going to be a bloodbath today. Make sure you follow us on the socials to see all of our drafts and get the heads up when new episodes drop. At 3 Count Pod on Twitter and Facebook. At 3 Count Podcast on Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Benny, before we get into Revolution, what is happening in the rounds of pro wrestling?
Well, there's so many signings, so many belt changes. There's a lot going on. Where do you want to start? WWE?
Let's start with WWE.
So we've got a few new champs.
Well, yeah, we got a lot of new champs.
Yeah, so Finn, obviously, won the US title.
Finn Balor, US champion. We've got Ricochet, new Intercontinental champion.
Yes, new tag champs, RK Bro.
The Raw Tag Team champs again. And this little belt up here has changed hands. Dolph Ziggler, the new NXT champion.
Crazy. What a match that was too. Good triple threat match that was. And just did not expect that to happen. Like, I did not see him winning that.
No. I don't think anyone thought he was going to win that.
Well, the crowd. Look at the crowd's reactions. It was just like, yeah, perfect. We both did that perfectly in unison. Synchronized gosh face. Crazy. Like, I don't know. It's weird for WWE to change so many belts at once.
Yeah.
So I guess it's leading into Mania. You know, they're setting up what's going to happen and stuff like that. Intercontinental title, we thought it was going to be Knoxville versus Zayn. Now all of a sudden Ricochet's got it. So, like, where does that all go? Triple threat? I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe they're going to keep the belt away from Knoxville.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get like a 6 or an 8-man ladder match for the Intercontinental title.
Oh, there you go. Now we're talking.
Yeah, especially considering Ricochet's got the belt. You know what I mean?
I like it.
That'd be good.
Now, speaking of Mania, Stone Cold Steve Austin has accepted Kevin Owens' offer to appear on the KO show. Do you think we'll get a match out of this?
Look, I'd love to. And the way Stone Cold's done, the way they've done it, we knew it was coming with all the Texas stuff and all that kind of thing. But he's going to go on the KO show, so it probably will start as, just the KO show, and then it'll sort of all fall apart, go crazy, and then I don't know if we'll get a match, but we'll definitely get a couple of stunners.
Did you see the video of Stone Cold accepting?
Yeah, I seen it on Sports Center of all things.
Him driving his little RV thing through the desert.
Yeah, when KO was doing that whole that whole spiel about how I could call out JBL, I could call out HBK. I thought they were going to give us the biggest swerve, and he wasn't going to call out Stone Cold. But I couldn't think who else was from Texas. I was like, if they just we called out Booker T, and he goes, "But you spent a whole time as a tag team champion as Harlem Heat." That was a pretty good dig. But yeah, I thought they were going to swerve us and not say Stone Cold just because everybody was expecting it. Yeah. But it happened. Stone Cold responds. We're going, game on. We've got Stone Cold at Mania. What more do you want?
And now we've got a few more weeks. So I guess we'll find out what Kevin Owens has in store for.
Do you think we'll see Stone Cold before Mania?
I think so.
You have to, right?
There's a long time. Well, maybe not in ring. I don't know.
24 days now, 24 or 5 days now. So
maybe not in ring, but maybe via video or something. So I feel like that's the attraction, right? To see him in person.
Live. Yeah. That makes sense.
We will see.
I think they'll tease it. They'll tease, like, KO will call him out. He won't come. The following week, he'll do a video package or something like that.
Maybe we'll get all those Texas legends come out.
One after the other. Yeah. He'll do JBL 1 week, HBK, Booker T. He'll stun them all. And then Stone Cold will come out on the last Raw or just give him the stunner, and then game on.
Game on. Now, WWE Hall of Fame news. Vader is going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Big Van Vader. Leon White, God rest his soul, RIP. He's deserved it. He was great. Like, you think back to the 90s, him and Shawn Michaels, that little title run that Michaels had where he was fighting for the title against him. And of course, his days in WCW were great as well. So, and a lot of stuff in New Japan that he used to do and stuff like that. So, well, not New Japan, but in Japan. So, he's a deserved. He should have been there a long time ago.
Well deserved, Vader.
Yeah.
Now Becky Lynch has picked up an injury at a house show. Bianca Belair has fractured her voice box.
Yeah, is it a legit injury or is this just storyline?
It's legit. So it wasn't at a televised event.
Yeah.
She must have landed on her or something, and Becky had to go in for surgery. She posted a picture of her like just out of surgery.
I seen she was in hospital, but I wasn't sure.
So it looked pretty nasty. Apparently, she'll be back for Mania, but
yeah, of course.
But yeah, I guess we'll have a few weeks without her while.
Is she going to come out with the Kane voice box thing and try and talk with that or something like that? That'd be pretty funny.
I hope so.
That'd be good.
In more WrestleMania news, we're going to have Pat McAfee take on Austin Theory.
Which you called that a couple of weeks ago. So.
Yeah. So apparently Vince will be involved a lot more than we think.
Okay.
He'll be in Austin Theory's corner apparently. So whether we see him actually get in between the ropes or not, it's
he's just so old now. Like I wouldn't get in the ropes, and I'm not even like I'm under 40 and I wouldn't get in the ropes. So, but Vince is a specimen. They keep talking about his he's still a fit man and all this kind of stuff, but I just don't know.
The dude runs on like 2 hours sleep a night.
Well, Triple H is similar. I think Triple H does like 4 a.m. workouts and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Do we see Shane come out with Pat McAfee?
I don't know. Well, there was a report that came out that the initial plans for Shane O'Mac at Mania were to take on Seth Rollins.
Nice little segue there. That was good.
Yeah.
Seth. Great match.
That would have been a fun match.
Yeah. Because, Seth likes to put his body on the line, as does Shane, and Seth could carry it. Shane doesn't need carrying, but I mean, Seth could carry that.
It kind of feels like because that didn't happen, there's not really much of a place for Seth at the moment.
No, nothing at all. Especially considering they didn't win the tag titles, him and KO.
Yeah.
And KO's gone on to something. Seth did sort of have that little possibility that you could say I still deserve a title shot because he never really lost.
Yeah.
But he lost to Roman at Madison Square Garden last weekend. So that sort of squashes that. I know it was a house show, but it was very well publicized what happened and stuff like that. So being MSG, of course. What does he do? He's not going to go for one of the smaller titles, unless if they do throw him. Imagine he's just in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal or something like that. I want to slap in the face for Seth.
Oh, no, poor Seth. Well, segue into this. There's no more Cody Rhodes news.
Yeah, well, it's just gone quiet.
It has gone very quiet. Apparently, they've hit a snag in negotiations with WWE. He has a few offers out there, so
they weren't giving him booking rights. So he said, "Stuff it, I'm not coming over." Tony Khan's just laughing his head off.
Possibly. Well, let's move on to AEW news, and I've got 4 lines here of people who are now all elite.
All elite. Who do you think the biggest one is? Or are you just going to start with the first one? Start with the first one.
Okay. And possibly the biggest, Swerve Strickland.
Possibly the biggest.
Well, not the biggest, but possibly the one that they'll get the most out of.
Yeah. The others are a little bit older.
So we've got Swerve Strickland's all elite. He signed his contract at Revolution. Jeff Hardy is officially all elite. His 90-day non-compete ended, and he showed up on Dynamite.
The very next day.
William Regal showed up at the Revolution pay-per-view in the Mox Danielson match, and Paige Van Zandt signed her contract at Dynamite today.
Well, there you go.
So plenty of new signings there.
American Top Team just getting involved.
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong.
Speaking of American Top Team, we had a new champ, or we get into that later?
Yeah, well, why not get into it? Scorpio Sky, new TNT champion.
Yeah. Sammy, what happened?
Yeah. And so in the match on Dynamite today, I thought it was a legit rib injury that Sammy had. And, Ty Conti was out there and, telling him to stop the match.
But that's what made me realize it wasn't legit. Because if it's a legit injury, they won't let somebody run out.
No.
You know what I mean?
Like throw up the
X or whatever. Or if he wanted to even continue, but they wouldn't let her run out. So that's how you knew straight away that it was going to be some sort of storyline.
Yeah. So there you go. And obviously Paige Van Zandt took her out as well. So Scorpio Sky, new TNT champion. Speaking of championships, there's a new AEW women's title belt.
Yeah.
Which, Britt Baker wore out at Revolution.
Different. I don't mind it. It looks very old. Like it looks older. Looks old school. But it's bigger, obviously. It's
like a very dark gold
kind of
looking thing. I like it.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I'm a fan. And lastly for AEW, Miro signed a new 4-year deal.
Yeah. So, where is he though? We haven't seen him for a while, but
we haven't seen him for a while. Maybe he'll spend 4 years just not doing it.
Another one of these. He might show up on Ring of Honor or something.
Possibly. Well, I mean, this giant roster that they've got now, it kind of makes sense.
Well, they had to, yeah.
It kind of works in Tony Khan's favor now.
And he's going to be taking the book as well for that, apparently.
That was my next line too. So he will be the Ring of Honor booker. So
great minds, man.
There you go. And lastly, Tasha Steelz defeated Mickie James to become the new Impact Knockouts champion.
Did see that. Did you see the Control Your Narrative boys had their results over the weekend? Not really much. Obviously, Adam Scher and EC3, they had their win. Austin Aries won as well. As for the rest of the names on the card, not really that big of a names. But, I mean, they're getting out there. They're trying. They're having a go. So, good luck to them, I reckon.
Adam Scher came out and said that an unnamed promotion was trying to get their Dallas show cancelled.
Wow. There you go.
So, interesting stuff for the Control Your Narrative crew. Now, Benny, let's get into it. It's time to go through the Revolution card. We'll
bring up the notes.
We'll touch quickly on the buy-in. There was 3 good matches on the buy-in as well. Like we had legit Layla Hirsch defeated Chris Statlander, which was a pretty good match.
Yeah, she nice little cheat there at the end to win that.
Yeah, using the kind of ring turnbuckle metal.
Yeah,
that was good. We had Hook in probably his longest match to date against QT Marshall.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but you know what's funny? I thought it was it was my least favorite match on the buy-in.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah.
And then we got the House of Black defeated the Death Triangle with
that was
Eric Redbeard.
Yeah, Redbeard.
Yeah,
making his appearance. That was a really good match, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Couple of crazy moves on the outside, even on the side of the ring apron and stuff like that. It was very entertaining for what it was, like being the buy-in and stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
AEW have done this great thing where every single match on that card feels important.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's anything that is, that you shouldn't pay attention. There's no popcorn matches or anything like that. Like they've made every match feel important, and hats off to them because
it's funny you say popcorn match because I'm going to mention popcorn match a bit later on, and nobody's going to like what I've got to say, but yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, you're right. There usually isn't, and this one wasn't either. I'll get to it, but
I think I know where you're heading, but we'll get there. Now we kicked off with Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston. Early on, Jericho got dropped on the top of his head.
That looked bad.
It looked like a nasty land from the suplex. Saw a few code breakers, a lion salt, walls of Jericho, but Kingston was able to withstand it all and end up ending the match by putting Jericho in the stretch plum submission. And Jericho left and wouldn't shake Kingston's hand.
He didn't even realize he won. That was the best part. And I thought they played that really well. Like when she was saying, you've won. And he's like, what? Like ready to go again. And he's like, I won. Like that was pretty cool the way he played that up. And then he's like, be a man, shake my hand. And nah, Jericho wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't have a bar of it. What'd you rate it, Benny?
Which you'd expect. I gave it a two count.
I gave it a 2 count as well. I thought it was a brilliant way to open the pay-per-view.
Now, for me, like I can't really talk, but they didn't look like athletes out there, you know what I mean? Like Jericho looks all right now, but I think, what did you text me? You said he looks like
I said Eddie Kingston reminds me of one of those jobbers they bring out when the NRL guys have like their first boxing match.
Yeah,
like
he really did.
some 50-year-old guy looks like straight out of the pub.
Yeah. And that's what Kingston looked like. He honestly looked like that. He came out, he got the strap off, and he just looked like, a guy straight out of the pub. That's a perfect way to describe it. And you know what? He'd probably say the same thing about himself. He's a street brawler. He loves it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the match. I gave it a 2 count. What did you give it?
I gave it a 2 count as well. I thought it was perfect for what it was. And as for what's next, well, we saw it on Dynamite. Jericho said he changed his mind, wanted to shake Kingston's hand, but it was all a ruse. 2.0 and Daniel Garcia hit the ring to attack Kingston.
Yeah.
Jericho ended up taking out Santana and Ortiz, and Hagar turned on the two. So the Inner Circle, Dunskies.
Gone, no more.
A new faction called the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah. What's that? JAS.
JAS. I think they can come up with something better than that.
But JAS sounds all right, as long as you don't want to say what it is.
Yeah.
Can I just say as well, AEW, the king of factions.
Oh yeah, they love it.
Everybody's in a faction.
Yeah. Well, you got 2 guys, you're a faction.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, we probably created a new faction on the pay-per-view as well. So I mean,
that we did.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, Jericho Appreciation Society. Interesting. So I mean, obviously this feud isn't over.
No, definitely not.
Which will be good to see. We then had the AEW World Tag Team Championship match, Jurassic Express, Red Dragon, Young Bucks. The alliance between the Bucks and Red Dragon was short-lived, and the match had plenty of high-flying, exciting moments, as you'd expect with Jurassic Express and the Bucks. But in the end, Jungle Boy pinned Matt Jackson after a Thoracic Express. I gave it a 2 count.
Is that all?
To me, I didn't enjoy the whole Red Dragon and Young Bucks teaming up.
Because But I think that just gave narrative to the story.
Triple threat match, it doesn't make sense.
But it just gave narrative to the story that they're both meant to be part of the same team or whatever else. And of course, they were going to turn on each other, and that's the way it was going to go.
Yeah.
There was so many just great moments like throughout the whole match. Then
Jungle Boy is at another level.
I was just going to say that Jungle Boy just took the biggest beatings, and then Luchasaurus had come in and just, dominate here and there. But then he'd take some massive bumps, or he'd do some crazy moves. And then, but I think it was Bobby Fish on the outside at the beginning of the match. Just the camera was right next to him, and you could hear everything he was saying. It was just brilliant. Like, it was like he was commentating the match at one stage. And it really gave more to the match. So I actually loved it. I gave it a 2.5 count.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and almost more. Like, I almost gave it more.
I think I've probably been spoiled for Jurassic Express Young Bucks matches.
Yeah.
And in that it delivered, but I'm probably used to more, and that's probably why it only got a 2 from me. But I mean, let's look at what's next. I mean, it looks like we're heading to a Bucks Red Dragon feud, right?
Yeah. Well, you'd have to from there. And then obviously the Jungle Express will go on to just fight a new challenger, I think. Yeah,
I mean, they defended their titles against the Acclaimed on Dynamite.
Which, that's deserved.
Yeah, I like the Acclaimed.
Same.
Yeah, I'm a fan. But you'd have to think eventually we're going to have Danielson and Mox having a shot at the tag team titles, but we'll get to that.
Oh, I don't like that.
I'm not the biggest fan of it either, so I'm there with you.
Yeah.
But let's move on.
Well, before you go there, did you notice though on Raw we had to have a triple threat tag team match as well? Like, it was just
yeah.
Were they not trying to just steal the thunder? And it was like not even close.
No,
like, it was still a good match. It was actually still a good match, but it just wasn't even close. Like, obviously Randy hit that massive RKO on Gable when he was going for the moonsault and stuff. But I just wanted to throw that in there because it was just funny that I reckon that was a scramble, and they put that together and made that match what it was because of what we've seen on Revolution.
Let's do our own one.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The Face of the Revolution ladder match for a shot at the TNT title. Big time spot fest.
Yeah.
Plenty of times we saw Hobbs, Lee, and Wardlow kind of taking out the rest of the competition. My favorite spot was probably Orange Cassidy. He's skinning the cat while hanging from the ladder that was being held up by Wardlow and Keith Lee and almost winning the match. But was Wardlow, who, after showing an incredible vertical leap to jump onto
that ladder,
up to the ladder from the ground, he grabbed the brass ring and got the win.
Yeah, it was an okay match. Spot Fest is probably a good thing to say, but I guess obviously the injury to Orange Cassidy, Keith Lee just tossed him like no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know his own strength, that guy.
Yeah.
And then I just sort of, I wasn't the biggest fan of the match, to be honest.
What rating did you give it?
I gave it a 1.5 count, and I think I'm being generous. I gave it to it just because it was fun, but sort of I don't know, just Wardlow, it just seemed like he was always going to win, and Keith Lee just seemed so boring to me out there.
Yeah, that's fair. I gave it a 2. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, can someone answer me? Anybody out there? Can someone answer me why, when somebody picks the ladder up and puts their head between it and starts spinning around, why do people run at them? Like, honestly, why? I've got an idea. He's got a ladder and he's spinning around. Let's run directly at him.
I thought the same thing.
They didn't even execute it real good. You know what I mean? It just seemed like Hobbs ran into it real weird and he sort of fell, and it just, yeah. But it was fun. It was fun to watch. As a match, I sort of just was like, ah. But, 50%, 1.5 count.
Fair enough. As for what's next, obviously Wardlow gets his shot at the TNT title. He came out and said he's free of MJF now on Dynamite, so that's where his sights are going to be set.
Which we'll see coming up in a couple of matches' time.
Yeah.
So he sort of laid the foundation for that. Where does everybody else go? Is Keith Lee already a mid-carder?
Well, he's not. Surely he's not down to dark yet.
He wouldn't be far off, to be honest.
Well, hopefully we get a bit more of Keith Lee, at least showcasing, his personality a little bit. Because, we haven't really gotten much from him.
Nah, like he came out and he sort of did that little dance and stuff before the match. And then in the match, he was just so deadpan. It was just sort of, he killed me in that match.
But that's kind of his character. He does seem a bit deadpan.
Yeah, but if they want to get him over, it just doesn't work.
No, I agree. All right, moving on, Benny. We've got the TBS Championship match. Jade Cargill and Ty Conti. Jade came out cosplaying her Mortal Kombat namesake, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
And kicked off the match by giving Ty a big smooch. Ty got some offense in, but it wasn't enough. Cargill ended it with her jaded finisher. I gave it a 1.5.
Yeah, look, I gave it a 1.5 as well. I almost gave it a 2 just because of Anna Jay, but we'll go for, she kicked Anna Jay into the table and then Anna Jay hit her with the chair. That wasn't enough for Ty Conti to get over. Ty did the moonsault off the top, did the whole can't even say his name. I'm a little bit crazy, and then jumped off. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was an okay match. I think we knew what was going to happen.
I think it was good for Jade to kind of get this a bit more of a longer match. It would have been her longest match. She's been there for less than a year, so I mean, to fight Ty Conti, taking some bumps and kind of trying to pull a proper match together. So I think it was probably really good for her. As for what's next, what do they do with Jade Cargill from here, Benny?
Who's going to face her? Like, I mean, there's plenty of women out there, but I mean, you've got like Hirsch is now going up against Britt.
That's Thunder Rosa.
Oh, Thunder Rosa, sorry, yeah, and that's right. And then Thunder Rosa will win that. Who else is there?
I think they need to sign someone. I just don't think there's anyone on the roster right now.
Ruby's still there.
Yeah. Actually, no, that's probably fair. Ruby would probably be a good shake. I mean, they can't have her and Baker yet.
No.
But Nia Jax.
Hey. Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
There you go.
She's too busy making TikToks with Mojo.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
And as for Ty, obviously we saw Paige Van Sant get in her face and attack her on Dynamite. So looks like that'll be Paige Van Zant's first match.
Yeah, well, Ty will be able to carry that match a little bit because, as you said, Paige is very, very green.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see where that goes. But it'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Because they'll probably do a mixed tag match as well, won't they?
I would think so. Yeah.
Like that would make sense as well.
Yeah. Moving on, Benny, the one all the marks were looking forward to, the dog collar match, MJF and CM Punk. What a bloody and brutal match, as we like to say. In-ring storytelling at its best, I think.
Yeah.
MJF swerved the crowd by having Punk's music hit right before he came out.
That was cool.
And then when it was time for Punk to come out, he came out to his old Ring of Honor music, the AFI song, and his gear was reminiscent of his old Ring of Honor gear.
Yeah. Crowd pop for that.
Yeah, they popped hard. Now, MJF kind of started the match brutalizing Punk, grabbed the mic and said the old man should quit, to which Punk said, "Eat shit, Max." Punk got the upper hand for a bit. MJF brought some thumbtacks into the ring. They both went into them with a superplex. Then Wardlow made his way down after being called out by MJF and trying to find the Dynamite Diamond ring. Couldn't find it. So, I've forgotten it. The distraction, Punk hit the GTS and Wardlow managed to find the ring and just leave it on the apron for Punk to use. And he did, and he got the 3 count.
Yeah. Brilliant match. Great, as you said, great storytelling.
Yeah.
They even made it work when they got the chain caught up in between the ropes, and like MJF couldn't figure out if he had to go over the rope, under the rope. So he jumped in and out like 3 times and stuff like that. But obviously Shivani just covered that up beautifully. Like I thought him and JR actually didn't stuff up as much as what I thought they would. Like usually they sort of make too many mistakes with that kind of fast-paced stuff, but they didn't.
There was some great stuff like at the start where MJF, he's got the heel mentality of, all right, I'm going to get out of the ring. And then, oh shit, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I gave it a 3 count.
Oh,
like I said, in-ring storytelling at its best, old school match. I loved it.
Dylan Dave Meltzer Chambers, what have you done there? Surprised you didn't give it a 4 count. I gave it 2 3/4 count. Like I'm giving quarters now because I can't. It's too hard to give it 3.
I'm going to be liberal with my 3s. It's the only 3 on the card for me.
Yeah, me too. Well, that's the highest I went to, but 2 3/4 for me. Maybe even 2 6/8. I'll round it. But yeah, same. Let's go. It was brilliant.
Absolutely cracking.
Where do they go?
Well, I mean, we've got Wardlow turning face now. So
he already was, though. Like he already was.
He already was. So it looks like we're building to an MJF Wardlow kind of feud. Here's my thoughts, Benny.
We talked about this before, and you said I'm saving it for the pod. So let's hear it.
MJF is going to cost Wardlow the TNT title.
Makes sense. Once you said that, that popped into my head. Because I said to you, Scorpio's only got a 1-week title reign.
That's it. And I think, that's what I think is going to happen. As for Punk, is it time to put him in the title picture?
Could be.
Do we give it more time? I mean, they've got to do it at some point.
How long's he been back for now? 6 months?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And, that match was just knock down, drag him out, long match. He can go.
Yeah.
He can go again. So put him in the title picture, I say.
Bring back Miro, him and Miro.
Yeah, that could be a pretty good rivalry. So we will see what Punk wants to do.
Whatever he wants, he does.
Whatever he wants. Tony Khan will make it happen. We then had the AEW Women's World Championship match, Britt Baker, DMD, and Thunder Rosa. Baker kind of seemed to step ahead of Rosa for most of the match. She had Rebel and Hayter distracting the referee. She was pinned. She was tapping out, but too many distractions. Rosa went outside to take out Rebel and Hayter, and when she slid back into the ring, she was hit with a stomp, and Baker got the 3 count.
Yeah, stomp on the title as well. There, it's like that was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, just heel work at its best, really. I guess the numbers add up, and that's just what she does,
Absolutely.
But Britt does it so well.
And we hope if you listen to our preview, you all jumped on the Britt Baker to retain money train because
gamble responsibly. But I'm not going to lie, I did jump on. That price was just too good.
As did I. So yes, Britt Baker retaining. I gave it a 1.5 count.
Let me have a look here. Yeah, I gave it a 1.5 count as well.
I thought it okay.
It did what it was meant to do.
I mean, obviously they've had cracking matches before.
They have, and it's hard to live up to that.
It is. So as for what's next, Rosa beat Layla Hirsch to get another shot at the title. It's going to be in San Antonio, her hometown, inside a steel cage. So,
yeah, to keep what did she say on to keep my girls out and to keep your hometown crowd in or something like that. Yeah. She said in her little promo. So, I think you think Thunder Rosa is going to win, don't you?
Yeah, I think Thunder Rosa is going to win.
I think Britt still holds on.
Okay.
I don't think it's time to pull the trigger on Britt just yet.
I guess we'll see what Sportsbet has to say.
Sportsbet, sponsor us.
Moving on, we had the singles match between Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Yeah, a great mix of brawling, wrestling, and hard-hitting moves in this one. Benny, no. You think this is a popcorn match?
You know what it was? It wasn't a popcorn match. It was just the crowd weren't up for it as much as I would like. They were a bit flat.
Do you know why?
We'd been going for so long.
They'd been there for about 6 hours already.
Exactly. This is what I mean. Like the crowd would just, and I understand why they put the next match before the main event because it's a spot fest and we'll talk about that. And you thought I was going to say the next match was the popcorn match, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. But this one, it wasn't a popcorn match, but I just meant in the sense that it just felt flat. It did feel flat. Like I was into it, but I could just sort of, they'd been there for too long. They just needed something. And the way that these two go at it, Bryan Danielson with his slow mat work and just these counters and all that kind of stuff. And then Mox just couldn't get over. It just felt a bit flat for me.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
I still gave it a 2 count, just so you know. Like I gave it a 2 count, but I mean,
okay,
you probably gave it 2.5.
So basically, Mox ended up rolling Danielson up after Danielson had him in the triangle, so he got the pin, and the two then brawled after the match until William Regal came out and made his AEW debut. Slapped both men, headbutted Mox,
had
a whole bunch of blood on his face.
Mox's blood all over his face,
and demanded they shake hands. So.
Yeah,
I gave it a 2.5 count.
Yeah, I thought you would.
I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, it was. It just, as I said, it just sort of I couldn't get to that top. I couldn't get to the finish.
It was the crowd that took it away for you.
It was. They were flat. Yeah. That sort of ruined me. Because I do like if I was there, I would have sort of felt flat as well. Like I sort of feel off the crowd when I watch it and stuff. Like I always watch it really loud for the crowd reactions and stuff like that as well with the speakers turned up, just so I can get that feel. Like if that makes sense. I know that's sad, but you got to feel like you're there. We can't be there right now, but I mean,
it's a long night of wrestling.
Some of us might be there soon, but I mean,
some of us may well be. So Regal's brought these two together. They had their first tag match on Dynamite. I assume they're going to run their way through the tag team division until they either turn on each other or get a shot at the titles.
Mox and Danielson managed by Regal.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Classic.
Cool.
And Regal had a promo on Dynamite, which was really good. It was really heartfelt, talking about basically talking to Tony Schiavone, saying, you took a chance on me and you really helped me out, when I first came over here, and I really appreciate it. There was tears in his eyes. He was saying, look, Bryan Danielson is the best wrestler in the world, one of the best ever. And, Mox is, one of the craziest ever. So it's a perfect match. And so I wonder what their little stable will be called.
I did read somewhere somebody wrote, can somebody go and check on Triple H for me, please? Like, it's just like, he's just lost everything now. Like Regal's over there now managing those two. So it's pretty funny.
Next up on the card, we had the trios match, the Andrade Hardy family office against Sting, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara. Pretty chaotic match, which just had some incredible moments. Yeah, Sammy hit Isaiah Cassidy with a Spanish fly from the top of the entranceway onto 2 tables.
Oh, that was crazy.
That was
they didn't move for a while either. I was like, oh, that's not good.
No. And then we had 62-year-old Sting.
How old?
62.
Right.
I believe he's 63 now. But
wow.
Yeah, jumping off a balcony onto Andrade and 3 tables.
Did you see though? He missed, he landed on top of him, but then his head hit that furthest table. Like I reckon he has to have a concussion from that. Like, because I rewound it a couple of times and his head fully hits that table. I was like, oh, that doesn't look good.
So after all that happened, Alan ended up hitting the Scorpion Death Drop, and then a bit of a dubious coffin drop on Hardy for the win.
Hardy was trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't even get out of the way.
He got him he got his shoulder on his knee, if anything.
Yeah,
like they should have just rolled it up and tried again. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he rolled out of the way, so I try again. Like it just, I don't know. Maybe they were short for time, or went for 6 hours.
It didn't.
Maybe they weren't, but no, it was a very poor ending to a chaotic. That's a good word. Chaotic match.
Yeah.
But it was what it was.
Exactly. It was what it was. I gave it a 1.5 because it was what it was.
Yeah, I gave it a 1.5 as well, just for the brutality and the fun of what it was.
Yeah, that's right. Now, as for what's next, we had Matt Hardy voted out of the AHFO by Andrade and Private Party. They put a beat down on him. Sting and Darby hit the ring, and then we had the familiar sound of Jeff Hardy's music, which I guess is not owned by WWE.
Mustn't be, no.
And Jeff Hardy
reunited. They just don't care.
Yeah. They reunited with his brother to fend off the Andrade family office now, I guess.
Maybe.
But one thing I can see is, do we see the Hardys against Allen and Sting?
Well, that's what it looked like after the match, didn't it?
I mean,
well, not match, but like what after the face-off.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff was the original Daredevil, right? So it would make sense.
Do we see Darby versus Willow?
Possibly. I mean, I think they'll have a bit of time where they take on this Andrade group.
There'll be a 8-man, Darby and Sting will join them, I guess.
Yeah.
That's just what Darby and Sting do at the moment.
They just join in somewhere and make their presence felt. Now, last match on the card, the AEW World Championship match, Adam Page, Adam Cole. Really fun match, back and forth, big moves, including Cole hitting Page with that Panama Sunrise on the floor.
I text you straight away when I seen it. I was like, Panama Sunrise to the outside. Wow. Like,
looks pretty cool. Red Dragon made their way to the ring to allow Cole to hit a low blow. They were chased off by Dark Order. After about 1 million super kicks from both men, Page
literally what I wrote. Super kick central.
Super kick party. And Page ended up getting the win after a second buckshot lariat. I thought it was a cracking match.
It was a great match. It was a great match.
You were saying that the crowd weren't into it for Mox and Danielson. They got into it for this one.
Complete opposite, yeah. Complete flip side for that one.
Even to the point where I was like, okay, we get it. Their names are both Adam. Like,
yeah, but it was like, let's go Adam. Adam sucks or whatever it was. Like, it was just
there were some cracking ones in there.
Yeah, it was good. It was as you said, the crowd did really pop for that one. It was a great match. They both got everything in that they wanted to get in. You know what I mean? Even to like the end where he took off his belt and like strapped him to the top rope and reminiscent of last week. And pretty much. Yeah.
What'd you rate it, Benny?
I gave it a 2.5 count.
Yeah. I gave it 2 3/4.
Oh, you're giving out the 3/4 now as well.
Yeah. I do have that written down here. Like it was a cracking match. Really enjoyed. And I just had in my head, I thought maybe Cole will win this. Obviously didn't.
I didn't think he was ever going to win.
Obviously didn't, but he will win eventually. But Cole challenged Page to a trios match after he successfully defended his title against Dante Martin on Dynamite. He alluded that the Bucks were going to be his partners. They said they didn't want to take on Page, and Cole said he meant Red Dragon anyway. So we've got Cole and Red Dragon are going to take on Page and Jurassic Express next week, I believe. So I guess all their hands are full. So I feel like we're going to see Cole and Page again.
One more time, run it back.
And that is it for our recap of the Revolution card.
What a pay-per-view, though.
What an absolutely cracking pay-per-view. It was long, but I enjoyed almost every minute of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolute cracker. Now, it's that time, Benny. it's time for the 3 count draft. All the blood that was shed at Revolution, and hell, even Brock Lesnar got some color at MSG this week.
Yeah.
We thought we'd draft our top 3 matches with color, top 3 bloodbaths, and Benny, you get to draft first this week.
Now, I did have an outright number 1 pick, but because I can see your shirt, I feel like I want to steal what your number 1 pick would be.
Well, yeah.
But I'm going to go with my number 1 pick because it's one of my all-time favorite matches of all, as I said, all time.
I think, to be honest, I think this is the clear 101, which you're picking right now.
WrestleMania, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin. It wasn't a crazy amount of color, but and they weren't even meant to get color in that match. But Bret said, you need to get color to Stone Cold. Stone Cold was worried about getting color in this match. There's been plenty of documentaries about it, plenty of interviews about it. If you haven't seen any, go and do yourself a favor and go and watch the match. The double turn, Bret becomes a heel, and Austin that just get ready to catapult him into what he becomes. And then he locks him in the, into the, what do you call it? Can't even think of what Bret's
Sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter, that's it. Mental blank. It's a long night. It's 11:30 at night, just so you know, guys. And then, obviously Stone Cold's just trying to press up, passes out with that crimson mask. They zoom in on it. Iconic picture.
It is an iconic moment.
Yeah, that's
absolutely,
for me, number 1.
Number 1. Okay, well, I will take this guy right here. Triple H and Cactus Jack in the Hell in a Cell No Way Out 2.
No Way Out. Yeah. Thought that was what you were going to do. What a brutal match that was.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you can't have this draft and not have Mick Foley in it somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, my next one, I've got a few here. But I think it's a pretty iconic match. I'm going to take SummerSlam 2005. Hogan and HBK.
Okay.
Yeah. Hogan just, with that blonde hair. But obviously Rick did it best. Rick used to just bleed, but Hogan did a blade job and he bled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was just bleeding like no tomorrow. It was a pretty bloody blade job, and I loved it. So that's what I'm going with, number 2.
Absolutely. This is tough. There's so many good options out there. I feel like 3 is not enough. Okay, well, I'm going to go with my boy and your boy, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, Royal Rumble 2004, last man standing match.
Yeah, crazy match. That was a lot of blood.
Yeah, a lot of blood.
Oh, all right. So I only had one AEW pick on here, and I feel like I'm going to use it just because we did talk about it a lot, and I still can't get over the match, to be honest. And I'm going to go for the women's street fight match. Ty Conti and Annie J versus Penelope Ford and the Bunny.
Okay.
That was brutal. Like, just for who they were, what they did in that match. You did not expect that. You did not see that coming. And just, that was a lot of color, especially for a women's match. So I give them props for that.
That was a lot of color. Now, I am tossing up because I had one AEW match too, but it's not that one. Actually, no, I had 2 AEW matches. But there are just some classics which are just so hard to. Man, I wish we had more picks. Okay.
Hey, you chose 3.
I know.
We are the 3 count podcast, so I mean 3 makes sense.
And we want you all to have your say on what you think are some of the best matches with color. I think I'm going to take another Hell in a Cell match.
Can I have a guess?
You can.
2002?
Yeah.
Take a Lesnar?
Take a Lesnar.
Yeah, that was going to be my other pick. I was tossing up between the AEW women's match and that one. Yeah. It looked like Undertaker hit an artery in that match.
Yeah.
There was so much blood.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have any honorable mentions, Benny?
I'm thinking of a couple like just now. Undertaker Triple H WrestleMania 17 was that. Yep. That was pretty brutal. That was a lot of blood. Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam.
Yeah,
When he cut him open hard style with the elbows.
That was I was maybe going to take that with my last pick.
Yeah.
So I remember, I mean, it was a work, but it just looked so real and so brutal.
Yeah. I love that one. That was good. What else have I got here? I've got a few. Have you got any honorables?
Yeah, I got Flair and Triple H, Taboo Tuesday in the stiff cage.
That was for the IC title, wasn't it?
I think so. But whenever Flair bleeds, it looks better because it all goes
As I said, that white hair.
All goes through the white hair. Undertaker HBK at Bad Blood. Yeah. In 97.
I had I didn't have it. I was one of the ones I looked at was Eddie Guerrero and JBL in 2004, No Way Out.
Yeah.
That was a lot of blood.
Eddie hit an artery.
Yeah. Oh, he actually hit an artery.
He bladed and hit an artery.
Wow.
And was just bleeding everywhere. I had HBK and Chris Jericho at the Great America Bash in 2008. Now, this was the match that got blading banned in WWE.
There you go.
Shawn Michaels bladed and was just bleeding everywhere, and they ended up banning it.
When we said we were going to do a blade, well, not like a Crimson Master, the first person I thought of was Abdullah the Butcher for some reason. I was just like, I thought I was going to have to pick one of his, but he was always. Did you see the scars on that man's head?
Yeah,
and Carlos Colon as well. Like they just got the old school 80s wrestlers, man. They just
crazy scars.
Bled like no tomorrow.
But AEW, I had the Cody and Dustin Rhodes match, Double or Nothing.
That was crazy.
That was a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And one that probably didn't have that much blood when you look at some of the other stuff we've drafted, but probably one of the best matches I've ever seen, the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks at All Out last year.
Yeah.
They ripped the mask and the Lucha Bros were both bleeding, and
yeah, that was good.
That was an absolute classic. And then the last one I had on here was, I almost took this for the last pick too, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, the IWA King of the Death Match, 1995.
I did see that on my list as I was scrolling, like looking for a couple of matches. Just anything with Cactus Jack, though, of course, and Terry Funk. They were brutal.
Yeah, good old Chainsaw Charlie. Okay,
Chainsaw Charlie.
Benny, you have Bret Hart, Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13, Hogan, HBK, SummerSlam 2005. Ty Conti, Anna Jay, Bunny, and Penelope Ford's Street Fight. Was it Dynamite?
Can't remember.
I think it was.
Got it written here somewhere. That was a Rampage. AEW Rampage.
It was a Rampage. And then I have Triple H, Cactus Jack, Hell in a Cell, No Way Out 2000, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Last Man Standing, Royal Rumble 2004. And Lesnar and The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, No Mercy, 2002. A lot of blood in our picks there, Benny.
Yeah, definitely. And let us know what you guys think. What do you got? Let us know on the socials and fire us up, or in the comments on YouTube, whatever. We want to hear it.
Absolutely. Benny, that's it for this week.
We got there, mate. It's been a long week. I've been away last week. I had a wedding to go to, and then my mum's birthday today. Happy birthday, Mum. My birthday this weekend, so it's been a big week.
And catching up on 6 hours of wrestling isn't easy.
Plus Raw, plus Dynamite, Rampage. There's a lot out there.
There's a lot to watch. So thank you for joining us. We'll be back in a few weeks. We're going to preview the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. As always, we'll post the draft to the socials. Let us know what bloody match is your favorite. Benny, once again, thank you for your time.
Pleasure as always, Dill.
And we'll see you again next time on the 3 Count Podcast.